All right, so this is part two to Nahko's reading, and we left off with talking about Chiron, Chiron being a main teacher. Chiron is also at a trine. So anything that's in red here, the oppositions, the conjunctions, and squares, in Western astrology, this is called a hard angle. It's meant to be challenging. It's meant to give us irritation, inflammation, causing us to do change, to make something happen, to create alchemy between two things that are in resonant polarity or in some kind of a way not like each other. They don't like each other, they're not alike. So you can see all these red lines, and then the blue lines are meant to be helpful energy. They're things that are harmonious. So a trine is like giving a helping hand to connect two things. So here's Chiron at a trine angle to all this stuff in Aquarius. I'm so excited to talk about Aquarius. It's one of my favorite things, one of the main features in my own personal chart as well. So we have Chiron at 9 degrees of Gemini, and then in Aquarius there's 18 degrees for Venus, 16 degrees for Mercury, and then the sun is at 14 degrees. This is considered a stellium, three things together within 10 degrees of each other. And we could also throw Jupiter in there because on one end Jupiter would be 10 degrees of these three, and Vesta. Also, I need to talk about Vesta because this is part of the solar eclipse. The eclipse season that's here, this window opening up, illuminating these particular mysteries. Vesta is a big part of that for Nahko. But Vesta, Sun, and Mercury, that would be another stellium on that other side of Aquarius. So trine. Chiron is trine, saying that giving the I don't know if I mentioned this. Where Chiron is on our chart gives us a lot of clues. Chiron for him is in the 12th house, which would say that there's this ongoing feeling of not knowing, of being uncertain, being unsure. This is Chiron in the 12th house says that one of the main wounds has to do with always having a low grade feeling of being wounded, having a low grade all the time, feeling hurt, feeling abandoned, betrayed. Chiron in the 12th house gives us this non localized feeling of not being whole, not being complete, always having that aching feeling for needing something to, what I need something. I need something. So this can be like continuously needing to be buzzed, have some alcohol, have some weed, have some whatever that is, because the 12th house has to do with the collective unconscious, the dark basement or the attic of our psyche, of our awareness. And Chiron in that placement can give us this just low grade feeling. Low grade meaning that it's all the time a little bit, consistent feeling of not quite being whole. That's part of the medicine also. That's part of the gift of Chiron. Trine to all this stuff in Aquarius means that sense, that feeling of incomplete, incompetent, not quite being whole, always feeling like I need to heal. I feel like I always need to heal. That medicine for the people, so perfect for Chiron being one of your main teachers. Chiron's medicine for the people. So giving a helping hand to these, which are personal planets. So Saturn, Pluto, Chiron, these are not personal planets. They're further away. They're not considered to be our main tools that we have to work with. These are considered guides and teachers. which you have as your main teachers, Pluto, Saturn, and Chiron. Then personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, and Vesta. These are all considered personal planets, and they're all being helped and guided and giving the supportive energy from Chiron. So let's look at that, because there's an important transit happening for you in the sign of Aquarius during this Leo eclipse season. So Venus and Mercury and the Sun. There's three different ways we could look at this. So the Sun being the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, shining over everything. The Sun reminds me of the heart. It's like the pump that's fueling everything in our body. Aquarius Sun is in Ayurveda, there's Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata is the energy, the creative force that everything needs that. Everything needs the prana that's related also to Aquarius. In Egyptian mythology, there's a god named, it's Ptah. I want to say, like, when we go, psh, 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 like that kind of thing when, we got a little attitude. It's like, and it has to do with that cosmic breath, the way that we speak our poetry into motion, into creativity, the manifestation of our thought pattern that went to the word that, at first, in the beginning, there was the word. So that is like Aquarius. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything, has that cosmic, that breath, the gift of the breath of creativity, of life. Then Mercury being there gives that your perspective, the way that you are thinking, communicating, the way that you receive information and put information back out also has that Aquarian essence on it. And this is also your feminine expression, the way that you attract things to you, the way that you draw it in, what you will spend money on. So, maybe something that you'll spend money on is things that bring that cosmic perspective, meditation classes, meditation CDs, audios with meditation on it, whatever's going to get you into that big picture perspective. I have Venus in Aquarius also on my midheaven, and some of the things that, I really love, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, things, the great thinkers, the philosophers, anything that is going to give me this broader cosmic perspective. I love that. It's a weird thing to say for, my feminine essence. What I would spend money on is cosmic consciousness or the big picture perspective. I will spend money on readings. I will take classes to increase my intuition, my psychic abilities. I will, that's what I value. And so Venus has to do with what we value, what we appreciate, also the way that we value, the way that we draw things in. That's Venus. These are at a trine to Chiron, saying that medicine of the wound is being flooded into, sharing space, sharing energy with all of your Aquarian energy. Now, what I want to talk about next is this chart has the Aquarius full moon in this outer ring. So everything that's circled here, these are things that are happening for you personally. They're happening for all of us collectively, but this is how that collective chart interacts with yours. I'm just looking around to see if I printed out the Aquarius full moon chart, but I didn't. Doesn't matter, because this is it here on the outside. And what you have going on is really amazing. I have this happening on my Venus. Mars on the south node This has been going on for about 2 months, and it's going to be until about September. Mars is going to be on the South Node. The South Node represents our history, our past, where we've been, our habits, patterns, addiction, the karmic patterning. Mars being there is doing a couple of things. The first thing is bringing up the past on what we have considered to be masculine collectively. It's also bringing up what we individually are connecting with as our masculine essence, the way that we will assert ourselves, aggression, power, all of these things. As soon as this conjunction hit my Venus, that very day I had, I got like nasty grams from people that just, it blew my mind. I don't usually have the opportunity to work with anger. I've been doing the healing arts as a profession for, I guess, since 1999. And so when I interact with people professionally or just in general, it's like, great. Everybody loves the healing artist. Everybody can't wait to get a massage, have a reading, Reiki, all this stuff. And suddenly it's like anger, aggression, people asserting themselves. And we've all been experiencing this. For you, that's directly on Vesta. For you, it's exact with your natal Vesta. So Vesta isn't talked about much in astrology, but is what makes you want to get up in the morning. Vesta is what, it's like your sacred hearth, the fire within you that makes you want to get up and do your sacred work. What is your sacred work? That's Vesta. Having the South Node on and Mars is in retrograde right now, right on your sacred work, is bringing up everything that has to do with your aggression, your, the way that you assert yourself. And this also might look like, I wonder, let me know, have you been getting aggressive letters, emails, things that are like, a dislike? I don't like you. I don't like your lyrics. I'm, maybe Trump supporters being like, I can't believe you just said, there's a lyric, I just caught it saying something about fuck the national anthem or middle finger to the Star Spangled. That's what it was. So are you getting people being like, yeah, you can't say that? And maybe you've been getting that all along because there is a group of people who would really be assertive and aggressive about some of the things that you say. So that might not be a new thing for you, but it might be new in relationship to your sacred work, because your sacred work is not the same as the midheaven. The midheaven shows your contribution to the world, your career. You have your midheaven in Pisces, saying that your contribution to the world has this collective, universal love that reaches out to everything, everyone, sentient beings, non-sentient beings. It's that big love, the big energy of love. That's your midheaven, your contribution to the world. The way in which you are contributing to the collective has to do with that Pisces love. Your sacred work, Vesta, is not the same as that. This is what makes you personally get your ass out of bed in the morning. What is it that makes you want to, get up and do something, say something? You have Vesta in the 8th house, unseen mysteries, the realm of shamanism, mysticism, the healers, the mystics, the psychics. That is where Vesta is for you in the sign of Aquarius, saying that it's going to be in a way that is cosmic, big picture. So Mars in the South Node, really bringing that up for you right now. And this is part of the eclipse season. So everything that's here in this sign of Aquarius and the sign of Leo, as you can see on the full moon, the North Node is with the sun, illuminating this whole pathway for you. So where we are going collectively, that's the North Node being illuminated with the sun. That's just, wow. Because then we have Mars over here with the South Node. Mars is sometimes considered to be like the sun, as well as Leo, sometimes considered to be like the sun because they're bright, they're radiant, they are exuberant and full of life. So this pathway being illuminated for you, really, really opening up all of this stuff for you. On that note, what I wanted to mention also is that Uranus is at 2 degrees of Taurus, going right over your north node. North node is your personal north, what you are here to. Sometimes, like in Vedic astrology, they'll call the north node your life purpose, your destiny, where you are going. And Uranus being on the north node is giving you like an earthquake awakening into your destiny, into your life purpose. Sudden, unexplainable, unplanned for, crazy big events that shift your assemblage point, shake you up, bring you to a new perspective on your life. It's like that lightning bolt. It's very similar to Aquarius, that lightning bolt of like new perspective. I could go on and on all day, but I realize now maybe I'll stop. And one more thing. I mentioned earlier that Chiron was one of your main teachers. I wanted to tell you that in 2005, Chiron was in the sign of Aquarius. So this would be considered a Chiron transit for you. My Pisces looks just like your Aquarius, just stacked with stuff. And Chiron just got through transiting Pisces. And so that was a really potent timing for me, meaning Chiron transiting all of your personal planets is just medicine, wound healing, wound healing, wound healing, getting a big awakening on everything that is, this might be a time where your psychic abilities woke up, where you had poltergeist events happening because of all of your, this Aquarius section being packed with personal planets. Chiron transiting that would really bring just electrocution of tearing the veil between, as I said before in that part 1 reading, where the wound is where your light merges with the infinite light. When Chiron is transiting all your personal planets, it's just like you're just blasted open and, information in, information out. You're seeing beyond the veil. So that was happening in 2005 through 2010. So this might have been like a big spiritual awakening time for you. I wanted to mention that. And I think that's it for now. I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I learn a lot through questions, so I would appreciate it. If you don't have any questions, no problem. Thank you so much for giving me your birth time. Unlike Tupac, I got his birth time through a dream where he was literally showing me his astrology chart. And Chiron and Pluto, these are 2 of my main teachers as well. So a lot of people with Chiron, Pluto as their main teachers come to me. We come together because those are really, really, it's deep. It's traumatizing. It is intense. It's the underworld. It's, so I'm happy that you could just send me a message and tell me your birth time, and I didn't have to go into that whole process of like praying for, please let me see your birth time. It just came to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. and I look forward to connecting with you soon.